to you.
Honestly,
I hope you're well.
I'm okay. Sir.
Does the MPP welcome the investigation being conducted by the Special Office of Special Prosecutor?
Sana, good morning to your viewers and listeners. I suppose that there's a consensus on the matter of inducement in our elections. As a student of democracy, one who believes that it is a privilege and, for that matter, a responsibility for citizens to select who their leader is. That's the sovereign power we have. And so for that to be mediated by the candidate or the individuals who wants to lead us with money, it neutralizes that power. In other words, our sovereign power to select and elect our leaders is bought. So when that carries on, what it is you have is that you don't have a democracy. You don't have a democracy. You have an auction system where the highest bidder buys democracy and leaves. In that kind of arrangement, that democracy does not serve the interests of the country or the interests of the people. Because the setup is that we want a certain output as a country through governance. And by that, we don't want anybody to impose themselves on us. We want, as a people, to be the ones who select someone. So that person then owes us a duty to take care of our collective needs. If that becomes a setup where the individual who is seeking to lead us has the capacity in terms of resources to wrestle that power from us under inducement, then it is this bidding that will be done, not the bidding of we the people. In other words, our sovereign power is sold. That's dangerous. That's worse than military dictatorship. It's worse. And so, to the extent that the matter has come up as it has, I think that we should all support not only a cosmetic investigation, but an investigation that leads to some real sanctioning and therefore serve as a deterrence for future engagement, not to take the form that this Iowa West election has taken. So I support this.
Why did you use the word cosmetic investigation? Is that what you suspect will happen?
Yeah. Because, I mean, we've had these investigations in the past, right? And we've had it, and they have not amounted to much. Because really what it is, people will come up with all sorts of explanations. And you know, and I am mindful, okay, that I'm also in the political space, right? But from day one, I've never been in support of this because really, if you believe in democracy, the beauty of it is that the collective will of the people is what arrives at a leader. It's a collective will. But now, if that collective will is tempered with any form of external influence, it weakens that will. So you select someone and put the name on as the will of the people, but in actual fact, it's not the will of the people. It is the might of the individual, the resource might of the individual. So the setup of democracy that is supposed to be persuasion under the force of vision, under the force of policy propositions that meet the correct collective aspiration of the people and therefore rises to the fore as the best way forward for society, gives way to inducement. And that inducement is not a product of vision. It's a product of the individual's resourcefulness. Okay? And that does not necessarily translate into the collective will of the people leading to the of society. So for me, when I say cosmetic, is because we have seen some of these things, and it is affected our democracy and how quickly and how fast we can move. You know, if without veering off too much, let me give you an example in 2024. Okay, and the situation we have now. The Minister for Agri now, I know he's a good friend of Radio Gold, made all sorts of promises to cocoa farmers. The Minister for Finance made all sorts of promises to cocoa farmers. In fact, the Minister for Agri at some point talked about cocoa farmers and their families will go to hospital for free. That they will pay cocoa farmers 6,500, and if they can't pay that, there was a question asked of him. So what if you can't pay? He said, well, if we can't pay that, then we'll show if the cocoa belongs to us, the government, or the cocoa farmers. A clear promise that is been made. And on the basis of that, people voted. But today, we're seeing the opposite. So assuming that we, the people, are not happy with that, which I know cocoa farmers are not happy, when they go to vote, they would select away from that. That's the beauty of democracy, because we wanted cocoa farmers to have 6,500. Cocoa farmers wanted to be able to go to hospital for free, so they voted for the NDC.
But Mr. Ahiagba, on the basis of that, no, please, because you are on. I ask you a question on this trajectory. You are jumping onto another trajectory, and you are raising issues that have to do with. No, I'm coming. You are raising issues that have to do with mandate and tenure. Because you're talking about them delivering on a promise and you are judging them the first year in office. They have not completed the tenure that has been given to them. So on what basis would you be jumping to the conclusion that they failed to meet that promise?
Sir, as you and I, as we speak, our cocoa farmers, a year on, are they going there and their families, are they going to hospital for free? They are not.
No, I'm saying that they have a 4-year term. They made a promise based on the 4-year term that was given to them. If that was the promise they made, you are saying that first year in office, in the administration, you should start judging them and saying that they failed because they haven't done that?
So now, I know you are from Sudan, but you understand the account saying that our brothers are Fianopa. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
So are you trying to tell me that in their 4th year is when you expect them to do this? This is a daily thing. Cocoa farmers
your assessment. No, because if you do that, then I would have been unfair to them. Because we are discussing a matter of, what do they call it?
Vote buying.
Vote buying. Okay.
And I'm giving
and I'm saying that I'm saying that where you are where you are going because you are doing a fleeting analysis of you are doing a fleeting analysis of where it is supposed to be. And you are not looking at the main one. What did they? You see, there are many questions to be asked, and you are taking me on a tangent of argument that I will not go on. Please. Please.
I'm just giving you an example. So let me do the connection for you.
Yeah. So stick to the matter of vote buying for me, so that we do not go all over the place, moving to this place. Please stick to the vote buying matter for me.
No problem. That's what I'm sticking to. You are not following.
Okay,
so here's the point. Let me do the connection, okay? The connection to what I was saying about the promises of the NDC, cocoa farmers, and all of that is to say that because of that promise, Ghanaians voted. And on making their decision, they voted for the NDC because they wanted the promise, or the cocoa farmers felt that that promise was good for them. And they were looking for someone who could do that.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the candidates that were contesting election, they chose the NDC. Okay? If you were on the back of inducement, okay, that the NDC won the election, clearly the NDC cannot be held accountable for that. But I like to believe that it was not on the basis of inducement, that the people actually favored that policy idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so they voted. So now we are in a strong position to demand that from the NDC.
Okay.
And if they are not able to do it, they will hold them accountable at the polls in 2028.
Okay.
So that is the beauty of democracy. So if you allow inducement to take center stage, people would say things, or people would simply rely on their money, win your mandate, and they won't know what to do. And if they do anything at all, it will be their bidding. In other words, strengthening their resource capacity again to come and buy the election further. So that's why this is so important. So this was the connection I was trying to draw for you. That the choice we make to elect one person or the other has consequence. And those consequences we are prepared to live with. If the person doesn't deliver, we vote away from the person the next time. But if we allow money, the electorates allow money to be the basis for which we elect somebody, it then will become a problem where every time when that person brings money, we will elect him. But every time we elect him, that person will not meet our expectations. That's the point I'm making to you. That's why it is critical that this thing is nipped in the bud. Whether it's in the NDC, whether it's in NPP, we need to work as a people to preserve the vote, to preserve our sovereign rights to select who leads us, and not the person who wants to lead us, induce us, or motivate us to select them to lead us, in which case they may not be serving the needs of the good people of our country.
Let me conclude on this note, because whilst the special prosecutor can do his investigation, the parties...
So now you see, it wasn't bad after all, right? I was giving you a connection, now you see.
No way. So the parties do owe themselves the responsibility to use their internal mechanism to ensure that these things do not happen if they disagree strongly with it. And I'm saying this because last week, around the same time, I had called you on the line and I had drawn your attention to what was circulating, with some delegates even saying that, oh, I've gotten that of the monies of other delegates. It is left with one delegate. And if the money of that delegate does not come, I am not voting. Since then, I've not heard a single thing from the New Patriotic Party, even though you expressed strong disagreement with what had happened. Not a single thing. That the party just goes to sleep after these things happen, and nobody acts and expects it to change. Would you take some responsibility that parties themselves have been part of the problem?
Well, what is happening is not Nigerians who are in Ghana doing these things, it's us. And so all of us must take responsibility, whether it is party, it is you, Senna, it is me, Richard, we all must take responsibility. And that's why I think it's an opportune moment for us all now to push for this thing to be dealt with expressly. You know, it should be systemic. The approach should be systemic. It shouldn't be, say, for example, oh, Baba Jamal, oh, this person or that person. But it should be, how do we address this problem sustainably? Okay, we have the People's Representation Act, right? It is expressed in its outlook to say that any form of bribery, okay, that's PNDC Law 284. It is clear, I think it's section 33 or 32 thereabout. It is clear in its provision that you cannot, and any act such as that to bribe people to obtain their vote is against the law. So why are we not enforcing that? So special prosecutor, investigation, no investigation, get the people. I've seen people who have just made posts on social media. They've been arrested with FBI, NSB or NIB, IOCO, and the rest. What is happening to this government? Why can't they arrest people? What is the investigation all about? That thing is a violation, clear and simple. So,
Mr. Ahiagba, the delegates election is your process.
Sorry?
I'm saying that is your process, not the special prosecutors. It's yours. Are you worried about the direction which it is taking? Would we see the New Patriotic Party taking any steps on this at all?
I'm not sure why you're talking about New Patriotic Party. Let's talk about us all. That's why I've been careful not to talk about.
I am saying that I am not a delegate.
Hold on.
No. So I am not a delegate. You set the system up. I was just questioning the NDC Deputy General Secretary on what they've decided to do. I'm saying that based on the fact that we've seen that from both parties, would we see your party also taking a step on it? That's a simple question.
No, but that is the parochial question. We're talking about a system issue. You just want to say MPP say this. That's not really the point.
No.
If we go on the
NDC cannot solve. No. I'm saying that.
If we go on the tangent of localizing this issue to political party A, political party B, we will not get a solution. But the true point you are trying to make is that this whole thing is a systemic issue. The fact that it is MPP internal primaries or NDC internal primaries, the laws of Ghana are not suspended with reference to that process. All of our constitutions, all of our internal processes are subject to the Constitution and the laws of Ghana. So we are not immune from the laws of Ghana just because it's an internal process. Article PNDC Law 284 applies. It doesn't matter if it's internal or external. It applies. So the laws of the country must be enforced. That's the point I'm making to you.
Okay.
So the fact that it is happening within NDC doesn't mean that it is their internal process, and so therefore they must use internal laws to deal with it. No. The laws of the country applies. That's why when you are doing anything, even in your own bedroom, the laws of the country apply. So what is special about internal party elections such that the laws of the country will not apply? It applies. So it's not what MPP does. It's not what NDC does. It's what we do as a people in enforcing the law. That's really where you have to go. But when you begin to look at party this, party that, you're not going to be able to solve the problem. In fact, the NDC effect, I understand they're going to be sitting on this Baba Jamal thing, and we're going to hear a report sometime tomorrow or when. This is a family affair. They'll go and sit there and find ways at the end of the day, let's sanction here, let's sanction there, but let not the NDC look bad at the end of the day. We're likely to hear things like that, and this thing will not go anywhere. But I'm telling you that if you want to deal with this as a society, looking at it broadly in the context of our democratic processes, then you need enforcement of the law. Some people I'm hearing are calling for passing of a bill or a law that criminalizes the whole act expressly, specifically for that. That's how we have to go. But it's not what the NDC does, it's not what the MPP does. It's what we do as a country, what we do as a people to nip this thing in the bud, because it is going to corrupt our democracy and it's going to weaken the kinds of leaders or the leadership we get from the exercise of voting. We're spending a lot of money as a country to run these elections. Okay. So this whole money thing is not only limited to internal processes. It is actually creeping very fast into the national elections.
Okay, I hear you. Thank you.
And parliamentary elections.
Thank you very much. Thank you. As always. Richard Ahiagba is Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party, joining us on the line, taking our time to 60 minutes past 9. SM, then we need to take some breaks.
Okay, so